Yeah.
We're kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to Living a Badass Life podcast. I am here today with Carlos Valenzuela.
Hello.
A very good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, since high school. I think we met at a house
It
party.
was a house party.
By my parents' house.
That was legit.
I don't know how we started talking.
That's the wonders of it, man. Nostalgic is like 12 plus years, but eventually you progress from there.
Yeah, so today we are just going to talk about when a relationship ends and how you change and grow from that and what you learn from those relationships. So you and I have both been through this.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we, I think, connect a lot. Like, we see your stuff on social media. I know you've seen a lot of my crap, and you've reached out to me about it, which is really cool. But before we jump in, I want everyone to kind of get to know you a little bit more. So, like, your background, what do you do? Are you in a relationship? What's going on with you?
Okay, well, first off, my name, again, is Carlos Valenzuela, right? So, if in any case, yes, I am currently in a relationship right now. I'm actually reaching 9 months, right? So, the 1 year is getting really close. It's been a while since I've actually been in a relationship, even getting remotely close to the year. So, like, it's a real big deal for me, knowing that I've kind of, like, I guess finally get my shit together, knowing exactly what I want to aim for, and now I'm really happy where I am right now.
Awesome.
At the moment now, since high school, after that, it's like job after job. Like, I went back to school. I now graduated from business marketing, right? Combined with Sheridan with graphic design, so I'm trying to do both. Still searching for a career, so if anyone knows anything, then yes, right? But out of my spare time, like, I'm always adventuring, always going different stuff. Like, you always saw the feeds, karaoke, whatever, right? Sweats and everything. And but I mean, I think the most thing I do now is because I'm actually trying to make myself more noticeable. Like, my hobby of competitive gaming has totally progressed a lot for me.
Okay.
So now it's like I'm taking that into another level where I'm actually trying to progress to different cities and so forth from there to, I guess in this case, my own sense of media, where I wanted to expand my own name to everyone, like the underdog, just make myself noticeable to everyone else.
Okay, so you do most of that now. I was going to ask you something. See, my so I'll have to edit it out. I was gonna say something because I know you used to work at EB Games for one. So I was going somewhere with that. You said something. I can't remember. I also remind me if you want water later. Then you're like, I should have did that first. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So right now you're not working at all. You're just doing.
So right now, I am working financially. So I am in the financial district. Big switch over from
I was gonna say that's a big wow.
Exactly, right. So the whole dreamland of being this, what I want to be. I guess you could say now has progressed to being the hobby now. And for me itself, I kind of got the sense of reality of what is needed for me to what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying my best to combine exactly what I was really aiming for in the future. But at the time being, I'm just now in the financial district to just kind of put my foot forward.
And do you, with your gaming, do you have that everywhere on social media? Are you really pushing for it, or that's something you want to do in the future?
I kind of do it. I kind of did it as like I said again, it's more of the hobby. I do want to try pushing it more towards the social media aspect, but it takes so much time. And realistically for me, I do it for the sense of fun, and I kind of show it to those that that don't know certain stuff, and I'm kind of share it with there. But with social media, I just try to share it. Groups that I've joined in Facebook or even Instagram, they'll I'll kind of send my own little message board. If they want to message me back, it's there. But I love it because because I'm mainly with PS4 in this case for that. A lot of the people that have reached me there have reached me through that system. So now I'm kind of building my own little social.
Yeah, that's really cool, and it's a passion, right? Yeah. So that's a whole other topic I had on another episode. That's cool. So now we know some background about him. Yeah. So now what was the thing we were going to say? Particular relationship. That relationship. So you and I, because I went through a really bad heartbreak last year, horrible. And that's what I've been healing. Throughout the year, I told a lot of my followers, and I don't know if you've heard me say before, I went crazy binge drinking, binge eating. I've gained a lot of weight. I didn't know what to do with myself because it was probably the biggest heartbreak that I've ever had in my life. And now I'm on the other end of it, so things are starting to look up again, and I'm still
really good.
Yes, thank you. So So, and I know that particular relationship. So what was your relationship that was your big heartbreak?
So like, I guess you could say, okay, so I'm gonna be straight off the bat. Okay, so her name was Alicia. I'll say that right there. First name basis in this case. So to an extent, it was New Year's. It was actually New Year's. I actually remember this very well. So it was New Year's. A few friends. We all went to a raving scene for New Year's, all having fun and everything. And then I came across to this one girl who actually caught my eye and everything. And surprisingly enough, I met her friend, and her friend decided to add me through Facebook at the time, and I just kept in touch. And then I kind of like decided to be the one to kind of find this person. So I did something different for myself in this case. So I asked her for some help. I reached out, and then this person I was really into surprisingly liked me back. So it was always like this back and forth, and it progressed like really hard to the point where it's like we established. I guess we kind of like got tremendously connected, like chemistry based in this case, right? And it expanded from there, and then we were together for like over a year, and then that was like in my time, they were literally my second longest relationship in this case. But this one was actually different because this was one that we were always in the aspect of like moving forward for our life and such, right? And we eventually moved in together, and then we were at that case where we're thinking about what's the next step after this, right? So even though she was like, I think at that time, I think she was what, 4 years younger than me, maybe like 5 years younger than me. At my age at the time, like I already had like a sense of plan for what I want to be, what I want to do in the future. So obviously, like I want to have like kids eventually in the future. I want to get married eventually in the future. And it was a discussion that we had over time, and it was kind of like to the span where like she didn't want that, right? But even when time progressed, she was kind of having that little second apart, like maybe it's something that we could progress to and everything like that. But that relationship itself had so many different bumps. It was more than I ever anticipated to have a relationship. So it's kind of like we were moving forward. I was getting promoted like with EB. I was opening up new stores, and then a lot of my time was literally towards that. And I had like a sense where it's like, okay, like what I'm doing right now is like so big because it's something that I want to progress to, and I really had no time giving attention to this girl that I was with. And like in that time, everyone has their own different sense of what a break is, right? Like it's true, like everyone has their own little opinion about it. But for me, it was just kind of like I'm not giving much of attention. I'm totally spaced from it. Like if I can, I totally will. If I can't, then I'm sorry. Like like you deserve the attention that you're supposed to get. And then like when I thought to myself that I'm just kind of giving a space, like that space was giving her different thoughts, and then she ended up going with someone else, right? And like from that little gap itself, like it wasn't as hurtful as it was, but it was like I knew this one was more to me than I thought possible, or else I would have brushed it off, like realistically, right? And then I ended up chasing again, and she saw how much I wanted her, and then she left the other guy for me. And then like that, it was kind of like stepping back again to like from scratch, but making sure like everything was fine. And then from that relationship, we finally moved in. We were going back and forth. Everything still like obviously
there was still issues,
right? But like the thing was like with that there was so much issues going on to the point where it's like I had trust issues because technically she went with someone else, and then she had trust issues because even though we were like separate for that time being, like she was in that extent thinking that I was already flirting with people from work as it is. So it's kind of like like I'm passing by your store, right? So it was really big, and there was so much gaps to that. But like when we worked it out, from there on, I thought we were like fine as it is. And from there, I ended up becoming very comfortable from like how I was and how we were, where like I was totally thinking to myself like, there's nothing wrong from here. I think this is going slowly, right?
So you were on like a good path. You thought you guys were on a good path.
I was like in a tremendous comfort level.
Okay.
Like I think beyond what I thought it was gonna be, right? But like but being that comfortable, like I wasn't really worried about anything. So I was like adapting to how it was, how everything was, and then like slowly I was like gaining weight without even knowing I was gaining weight. Right, right. Like I was going out partying more often with her, or even with my coworkers, because you know it's me coming from downtown Toronto. All these people want to go party and everything like that, right? And eventually, in time, we were going further up, and I remember this very, very well. It was like one night we were going to sleep, and she was in tears in herself, and I'm like wondering like what's wrong, right? So we had a moment, like we didn't go to bed, we were talking and everything like that. And she ended up telling me this thing where she had this dream a while ago where I guess you could say it was like an epiphany for herself, like thinking like what she wants to do now for her life. And so she said she wanted to go, she wanted to go travel, she wanted to go explore Europe and everything like that. But then like from that dream itself, she just didn't see me in it. Yeah. So that was kind of like
that's hard.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a red flag already from that alone. But then it kept on going further.
So from there, you still stayed in the relationship, like a long time.
Well, that was the thing, because like this is still within that conversation. Like we were chatting when she told me like she didn't see me with her for that, and then the add on top of that was she ended up telling me straightforward that like she didn't like find me attractive anymore, to the point of like how I was, and so like that was it. So kind of like it kind of like hurt more knowing the fact that, you know, like I thought you loved me for like how I was, but instead it was kind of like, you know, you love me in a way, but the more the attraction was like more there, right? So that was a big hurt, and like I tried my best again in this case to kind of like better myself for her, but then from there on, when it kept on going, it was like too late, because when she told me she didn't see me being with her, how she was in the future, that was technically like the whole breakup part, right? So what killed the most was within that same, I honestly think like within the same week too, it was the biggest combo, because not only did the girl that I loved and thought that I would go further with didn't love me anymore and didn't want to be with me anymore. The place we were living together was under her name, so I had to leave, right? That was the second one. And then the third combo to that one too was because what was it? Like there were layoffs and everything like that. Like the store fired me in this case, or laid me off from the company, right? So it was like 3 epic combos, and it was hurtful.
Threes, right?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
So I was like, it was a tremendous big hit, like right off the get-go. Like it was the biggest drop that I had. But you know, like I was trying to have myself I guess a positive moment where I'm thinking to myself, okay, like I'm having this drop down on me at once, but maybe I'll progress a little bit from it, right? So like I ended up getting a new job, but then like but then I had to leave, so I was out on my own for a bit, and then eventually in time, like you know, all the place was technically empty of my stuff, and I'm like, I'm having this one last final moment thing, like, oh my god, like I tried so much and nothing, right? Yeah. So that year itself was like such a dead one, to the point where when I left the place, like thankfully enough, like my parents were very supportive and everything, so saw that like this is really bad, so they say like just come home for now, right? So they took me back, and like it took me so long to kind of recoup, because like I'm jobless, like I'm so super depressed, like what the fuck am I doing now, right? And you know, I was happy enough, like when a lot of people saw what happened, you know, some people tried to reach out to me, and then you know, some of them was actually able to get me back to my old job before, so I was back at No Frills for a time being. Okay. So it was like, okay, like here's a little like side for me to pick up myself.
So you had a good support system, which is very important.
It was a very little support system, very little, because like when I was in the deepest part of that, like it was super bad, where like you know, you can't blame the people, like they're very heartbroken for something, right? And like I had some friends that like that reached out to see like how I was doing, or even try to give me a few words like, come on man, like you know, like you shouldn't be here, blah blah. But then like, you know, certain moments, like you're gonna have people telling you stuff, and then you can't like take in the information, right? So like you try your best so hard to take it in, and then you try to like, okay, you know, like I'm trying, but the information's not getting in there, right?
I'm in the same way. It's like when you're in it, you can hear it, but to apply it like it makes sense, but it's easier said than done.
Exactly.
It's so much easier. So when you're in it, it's so.
But the hard part about it so much is the fact that when so many people like, I guess like tried and figured that that nothing was being none of the information was going through, they kind of like blocked me out from their life. So
why try?
Right.
Yeah.
So like they removed themselves from my life. So that was one part. And then like that's when I realized like, oh my god, like people that I thought in general that were like I was helping them would help me back. It was kind of like we're not taking this like blah. Or even those that didn't even bother trying to reach, it's like no, like this is way too negative on my part. Like I don't want any part of this, right? So that was one thing I was realizing. And then when the year was like was coming to the end, like that first year, like I guess in this case I was somewhat in the point where it's like, you know what, this is New Year's, man. I gotta, like, you know what, like if this is like the most depressing year of my life, then let me like go nuts. I'm just gonna go stupid on this stuff, right? So like I ended up celebrating New Year's to an old coworker's place where they used to work with me, and then thing was going overdone and blah blah blah, and then like I ended up having a moment where like he came up to me and hugged me. And then he's like, oh, Carlos, Happy New Year's. Like, I'm sorry for everything. And then he was walking away. And then spontaneous enough just says like, oh my God, you're bleeding. Like, what do you mean? I know, right? I know, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? So like, as drunk as I was, miraculously I had like a wound on the back of my back, like right like by my ass in this case, right? And I was bleeding dramatically. I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah. So because I'm like, I took a moment to realize to myself that I was bleeding from like the garage of where he lived. That was like,
was there a trail?
Yeah, there was a trail. Some people didn't even notice it.
Do you know what happened to this day?
No, I don't. That's the thing. Because eventually in time I got rushed to the hospital.
You get stitches and stuff?
I got staples.
Oh.
That was the harsh thing. Because like they're giving me all this information. It's like, yeah, man, like your wound is like 3 to 4 fingers wide. It's like this deep inside. I'm like, what happened, right?
So you didn't feel it?
Yeah. So I'm
maybe
like,
that's a blessing.
Well, that was the thing. I'm like, because I'm seeing it as like, you know what? If you're gonna go down in the end of the year, like feeling like this crap, let's end it with a bang. It was like this one thing. I'm like, this has to be like the most random shit that happened in my life, right? And then besides me, like like getting dropped to the hospital, me waking up the next day telling me like you have to go. I have no what was it here? Like no ride, no nothing. I had no shoes. It's winter. It's fucking cold.
Where'd your shoes go?
They were still at the house. so like, what do you expect me to do? It's like nothing. Well, you gotta get
you gotta leave.
Yeah, you gotta leave. So I'm like, oh God, okay. So I'm getting like this cab. It's like, yo, yeah, I gotta get back to this house and everything. And like I'm there, like thankfully enough they gave me like an injection where I couldn't feel anything for the time being. So I had to literally get back to the house, grab my shit, get my car, drive back home, and then I'm there for like during the day calling work, like yeah, I'm not coming in the next day, like I'm like injured. But like that it's like sum up of that one right too, like I'm like, and no one knows what's happened to me. Anyone that's gonna see this right now is literally my parents that will come in like, what's wrong with you? You're like in like whatever, right? And so the one person I thought to my head was literally Alicia, right? So I'm like, that was like me, like I don't know for sure if she's gonna care, is she gonna worry or anything. So I'm like, I'm taking a shot at this. So like I messaged her, I told her, hey, I'm Happy New Year, but I'm actually back from the hospital, like I got injured and everything like that, and like I'm sharing this with you, right? And I'm sharing this information hoping to myself like there's a little sense of like still careness there, but like it was like straight off the bat it was like what was it? She pretty much like told me, oh, like sorry to happen, like okay, that's sorry to happen. That's it. It was like straight, and then that itself like those last words in general were like tremendous closure because I was giving so much hope that it's like something good would happen from it, and like nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
that's I've had relationships where there hasn't been no closure, which is very hard.
That's it. Yeah.
So I'm like, not that was good that happened, but it's like it's solidified it for you. You know what I mean? That it's like, it hurts, but at least you can move on from it.
But that was the thing, is like I tried so hard, but the thing that even oh my God, they even gave it more of a kicker was that after that year, and I'm like, you know, trying to regain myself again and everything like that. I then later on found out that she ended up going back to the guy that she left for me, right? And until this day now, I don't know if it's the same person, right? But the stuff that she told me straight up she didn't want, she ended up having it like with this other person. So I found out that, you know, she ended up getting married to this other guy. She ended up having a kid with this other guy, but she didn't bother she didn't bother taking her trip because she ended up like, you know, staying with this. So it's kind of like, you know,
it was
like I don't know for sure if like, you know, you didn't think I was the one for the longest time, or you like, or something came up, or like it blocked your plans, like you just met this person and blah blah blah, you lied to me or something like that. Like there were so many back and forth messages or thoughts in my head where I'm like, I don't know what this is,
because you want the answers.
Yeah, right?
You want the answers. I mean, it could have been so many things. It could have been she was lying to herself. I've been in a relationship where, for my longest relationship, that was 5 years, and near, I think, the 3-year mark, it's like I knew, but I just wouldn't allow myself to believe it. And then finally one day it came out and I realized I've been kind of like just going along with it, even though it should have been done sooner. So, I mean, not to say that's what happened with her, but there's so many things, and I find that when we're on the opposite end of it, you go through every scenario and every thought. You try to get in their head to understand why they did, and like, or what they did and why they did it, and how they're feeling, and I think that eats us up.
Yeah.
I think that's really hard being on that end of it.
No, it really is, because you don't know. And then that's the only case, because like in the other end of the stick, it's like you either accept it or you kind of kill yourself through a period of time until you figure out like what the hell the answer
So
was.
the guy that really hurt me the other day, because I know a lot of people, he lives by my work. I know a lot of people that live around there, so people always tell me things, and I'm like, just don't tell me. You know, I'm done. I'm not in love with him anymore, because he kept begging me to go for coffee with him before, like it was before Christmas, and I finally did. I realized I didn't love him anymore, so that was okay. But then 2 days later, I saw him with another girl, and I was like, why did you even call me? Like, what's the point, right? Well, and I haven't told my followers this, or my audience this before, but how I found out, and according to him, we weren't officially together, even though like I was at his parents' house for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. I knew he had kids, so I knew all his kids, his brother, like I was there for all the family events, his birthday, everything. But we weren't official. I found out by finding a video of him sleeping with another girl in his email.
Are you serious?
They made a video of it, and I found, and the reason, and everyone's like, wait, why were you in his email, you crazy bitch? And I'm like, no. He gave me access to his email on my phone and on my computer because I did all his lawyer emails.
Okay.
Because he was in court with his ex for the kids and blah, blah, blah. And it was such an angry person that he couldn't sit down and think, plus he wasn't that good with words and stuff. So like, he'd call me and I'd be like, okay, what do you want to say? Okay, and I'd type it all professionally.
Yeah.
So I was doing an email on a Friday night, and I had to remember a number of something. So I went to the sent box to go see like what emails we sent the lawyer, and I saw the sent from this chick's email, and I clicked on it, and I'm like, what the hell did he send her? It's a video of them having sex. So I don't know where I was going with that, but that is the heartbreak. Like, and I've never felt so connected to another human. Like, I don't know if you were like this with Alicia, like so connected.
Well, like that was the thing too, because like when I kind of had that little sense like something was going on, like even one of the other parts was the fact that, you know, she's like literally on her phone a lot of the time, like, you know, I always came, even till this day, I come with this whole thing where it's like, if I'm gonna date with you, or anything like that, like the phone's out of the table, like legit, like we're doing this, we're here together, blah blah. But like when I got to a customer, like she's always like, oh, like whatever, fine, I'll just do whatever. At some extent during the time, like I was so paranoid, like who the fuck is she talking to? And everything like that, right? And then at one point in time, she ended up giving me like, she did give me her password beforehand, and I'm like, you know, I'm sure every guy and girl did this in their life where they got so curious of what the hell happened, and I vouched that I did it, but like I actually like went on her phone because I was so paranoid, like who the hell is she talking to? So like that's how I found out that she was still talking to the guy beforehand, because she had a very how can I say this? Like, she was very curious a lot of the stuff, right? Like, on things on what she wanted to do. So, like, bondage shit was literally one thing that she was really into, right? And like, honestly, like, okay, like, from that time, yes, I was pretty old-fashioned. I got accustomed to it now, where it's like I'm used to it. Like, I respect it to an art, and I actually do it sometimes.
Oh! Got that.
I will admit that. I will. No filter. Like, no regrets on it. But like, the thing was, like, the fact was, like, I was seeing all these messages, and there were, like, photos of, like, you know, of, like, her posing for him and everything like that. So it's like, so it's really perfect. So,
and you guys live together.
Yeah.
Like,
so that was the thing. So it was like me literally like jumping into that, and I was just like, what the hell? And that's what killed me more, like, because that was like.
And how long did the relationship go on after you found that? Like, did you say anything?
No, I didn't say anything until almost like a week after, because then eventually in time, like, I couldn't take it anymore, because I'm there literally knowing that this is just happening right now, and I don't know how to say it. Right? And the thing is, like, with me in general, it's like I hate confrontations like so hard, to the point where it's like, you know, like, I'm trying to talk to you and everything like that, but if it's like something so overdone, like, half the time I will literally not like be super angry, but I will like talk. I guess I would project louder. Yeah,
I'm excited.
But I express it louder to the point where it's like, whatever I'm about to say right now, like, I don't even know if I'm gonna regret this now or I'm gonna regret this later, because like, it's me literally being so honest with you. I'm saying whatever I'm saying right now is literally what I'm feeling, but it's like, I know for a fact in the end, the moment you get the message, it's like, you're gonna backfire me so hard, right? And that was the thing too, like, I was so upset with what was going on, and then the one thing I think I was getting back from her was like, why the hell were you on my phone in the first place, kind of thing like that, right? That was the thing too, but it's like, the trust was so done before that I was trying to, like, I was actually, I guess you could say I was being like, I was being in denial, like, faking myself, thinking like, you know, I can still trust her, but no, apparently not, right? So that was like one thing over another, and then I was like, my God.
And trust is the foundation of any relationship, you know? So, okay, so when that relationship finally ended and like you had that horrible year, when did you realize like you were okay? Like, at what point? Like, how long after?
With me in general, it's like, I like to prove things wrong. Not like saying like, you know, prove people wrong. It's like, I like to show that things are possible. Okay. That's something that I live by, like, very, like, even up to this day. So, like, the one thing, like, even though I was being so depressed with everything itself, like, I don't know how it happened. I think it was like one family day. It was like, I think it was family day. My parents were always talking about like how my uncle has like all this stuff in his condo and such. And one day I literally just woke up and I said, like, I'm really bored, I don't want to be here, like, I don't know where to go because I feel like shit still regardless of going out. So like, you know what, maybe I'll just go to my uncle's gym. So I literally took one day, I went over to his condo, I was there for a bit, and then I just did a workout randomly, right? I came back the next day and woke up, and then next thing you know, I'm like, you know, like, I don't have work until 4 o'clock, so maybe I could go again. So I ended up just going back, and I did it, and then eventually in time, I ended up just continuously going. I
remember seeing you on social media with all your posts, and I was like, yeah!
I literally just went in, right? But like, in the sense of that, like, my conscience on that one was more like me doing it for myself, because it was like me proving that I could do what she said I couldn't do.
Well, and because remember you were saying that you were starting to do it for her. Before. So, and that's something I've learned, is never do anything for anyone else. You should always do it for yourself.
But that was the thing, because when I was trying to show that I could do it for her, that like that message itself was still not getting across, right? And that's when that was still more stuff to me, realizing that, like, you know, like, it's literally gone, like, it's done, like, to the extent.
So, well, hold on. Okay, how did you get? So you started getting into fitness, obviously, which I find that's a big thing, especially for me. So now that's why I'm trying to get back into it, because I stopped completely and gained a lot of weight, not working out and everything. But fitness has a lot to do with your mood and your energy, and like, it actually, like, working out helps with depression. And I feel like I was borderline depressed. And when I tell people that, they're like, no, you weren't. And I'm like, I think I was, because it was to the point where I would come home from work, I'd sit on the couch, and I'd just be like, what do I do? What do I do with myself? I don't like, and I just sit there and I cry, and I just felt so lost, like, because it's like you, and this is one thing, so I don't know if you noticed on social media, I'm posting about the Heartbreak first aid kit program series that I'm creating, so I did record videos, and that's something that I realized is you make that person that you love your entire world, and then as soon as they're gone, you have nothing and you fall apart. And that's something that now I'm like, I won't let that happen. No matter who it is, I'm gonna focus on my own goals, my own, so that it's like right now I'm single and I'm focusing on, you know, this podcast and my music and my fitness, and I'm doing my things. And then if a guy comes along and he can compliment me and grow with me, great. But then later in the future, if we break up, I'm still going. Yeah. And he just kind of falls off. Yeah. Because otherwise, if I stop everything that I want to do for myself in my life and he disappears, then what am I? Who am I? Yeah. I'm left with nothing. And that's where I feel like you were probably in the same situation. Like you lived with her, your whole world kind of revolved around her, right?
It was. It really did. It really did. And that was like the struggle, because it was me trying to find myself back again. Yeah. And it took maybe, holy shit, like maybe like 2 years. Yeah. Maybe it took me like, I know it took me roughly over a year to literally have Alicia out of my head, and then another year was kind of like me focusing more on myself, right? But then that was the thing, because like a year passed just like that, and I realized that like from where I was before, it was like me like tremendously pounds later, and then it was like, besides like the whole fitness being like, you know, and it's true though, like besides the fitness itself, like being like kind of a form of like, you know, getting out of depression because you're making yourself more energized and everything like that. It was kind of like realizing like what were things that that made me like hobby wise that made me happy to like, you know, try to get back at it again, because like it was stupid in my head, but like realistically I couldn't watch like certain movies because it reminded me of her. It was that brutal. Like I was like, what the hell is this, right? And that was the thing too, like anything small that I had reminded me of her, like even after the year. It was like come on man, like what am I doing here, right? And then then eventually when I ended up meeting new people, that was like when I was like, okay, that's cool, like, you know, they have like almost the same vibe. They're like almost the same as I was before I met her. So like, why not? Let's go have fun. And then that was the thing too, because like obviously you saw more of it, like whatever I was doing in my life. But like, but then that's when I kind of realized to the point where it's like, okay, I'm progressing. I'm slowly getting out of that phase. And then I came to the point where it's like, oh my God, like I found myself, right? Yeah. So like that's kind of where I'm like, okay, like now I push myself back from that, like that freaking My Chemical Romance kid, really, like from there, and then I'm like yay Hercules in this extent, right? But like I was happy enough that I was happy, like I was finally happy. It was like, oh my God, like I'm like, this is me now, right? Yeah. And but then I'm like, okay, but don't lose more of yourself in this case, right? Yeah. But eventually in time, when I went back to like where I was really happy with and everything like that, that's like when I was saying now, like my whole competitive thing has like gone different paths, because now it's like that made me so happy when I just progressed from there. And then that's kind of like now where I label myself as like a goddamn ultimate nerd now, right? Like a geek in this extent, because like it's like you met me before how I was. Now there was that one spot. Now I'm back to where I was again. Yeah. And now that's where I was kind of like saying now, you know, I was very picky, and I was not very picky. Sorry, I was very, I guess, cautious of how I was, and then I tried to change myself for someone, and then that's where I kind of made the realization, like now I cannot change myself for someone, right? And that's and it's true though, because then that's where you tend to actually find the right people, like relationship or not, but just like the right people that you know for a fact that really stick with you and understand your part. Yeah. And they
like you for you, and they accept you for who you are, right? Yeah. It's not like they accept you for certain things and then they want to change you in other ways. Like friends and like romantic partners shouldn't want to change anything about you.
Yeah, like there's a reason why they chose you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's a big reason. So you shouldn't have, like, I've been in many relationships where the guy, like, yeah, he'd like me, but then he'd make small comments about things he wished I'd change, like my hair color, or my weight, or the way I dress, or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't make me feel good.
Well, you know, that was one thing where I was kind of getting annoyed with some people too. And I don't know if that was because I came out of a path where I kind of understand that, right? But like I had one friend who like I spoke to regularly before, and then all of a sudden like she ended up going out with this one guy who she's still with even up to this day. But it's kind of like, you know, I know how he looks. You're not even close to that, but then all like out of get-go, you just totally transform yourself to like match him in some way, right? So and I'm like well, what?
So, okay, we do, well, like, you know what they say, like birds of the same feather flock together, kind of thing. So it's like if you kind of attract the same people that like people similar to you, but also if you hang out with like they also say that if you want to be better, like next level up, then hang out with people that are a little bit above you in whatever you're doing. So like dating, you know what I mean? So that you learn from them and you become like them. Yeah. So it's to a certain extent when you hang out with someone, you get their habits, but to completely change is like. But
I mean, it's a different story, especially when that person's asking you that this person said I look good like this. Do you think I look good like this? Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, why does it matter? Right? Yeah. And then it's like, oh no, because if he likes it, then this is good.
I think a lot of females like, and I've done it myself too. I'm sure males have done it too, where if they like a certain person, they want them to like them, and even if they do, they want them to continue liking them or continue being attracted to them. So it's like they always want to do things to make them attracted to them, even though if it's not how they would normally dress or what they normally wouldn't do, they do it for that person.
Well, I can understand if it's an extent, like there's an extent level of it, right?
But I feel like some people just go overboard sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's, anyway. Yeah. I know, we can like go on forever, but I have like no memory left. Okay, so what did you learn about that relationship? Like, what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about relationships? Like the biggest lessons.
I guess in the biggest lesson was like knowing exactly what I want to go for and go for it, right? So like even who I'm with right now, like I did chase her.
I wanted to ask you too, did you meet her before you were like over everything and when you found yourself, or after you found yourself?
Oh, this is like way after I found myself. Okay. Because like I think, because like eventually, like in time, because after a while when I did the work on everything, I went back to school. Okay. And I didn't date or anything until I went back to school, and that was like 3 years ago. Okay. When I went back, right? Yeah. And then like I had no interest of like being in a relationship or anything like that, right? And I was just happy where it was. Like I was like, good. You know, I felt good. Yeah. I'm starting something new, right? This is like a build up for me because I like same thing. Like I need to start something new for myself to get to where I want. And then that's when I realized to myself where it's like, and not trying to sound cocky on it, right? But like when I got back, it's kind of like, you know, I am expressing who I am, and miraculously enough, it's like, you know, besides international students, like certain people like don't really see this type of characteristic, so they're all like, yeah, I like this guy, let's go chill with him, right? And that's like, and I guess you could say I built my own network when I started from there. But then the whole part of that, what I was trying to say was like, you know, even though I wasn't looking, it was like I was somewhat getting girls left and right in some extent, right? And then, you know, I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of having fun now.
Well, like, you probably had more confidence too, like finding yourself and knowing who you are.
It was more. That was the thing, right? Because like, even besides the confidence itself, like I just didn't care. Yeah. Like you like I already like, what more can you say that I didn't hear like years ago that's gonna kill me now, right? Yeah. So like I just went with it, and then I was having so much fun. I was having like different girls, like not like relationship basis, but just whatever, right? And then at one point I ended up meeting this international student, Nancy, and then I'm like, okay, you know, I'm actually going out with this girl now, right? And then, you know, she had to leave to go back to Taiwan, and right, so I'm like, okay, so it's not a heartbreak. I can understand it's like a mutual breakup because we established it. And then after that one, it was kind of like, you know, I'm meeting new people, and then and I realized to myself, like, every new person I'm technically meeting now is in my sense, like going into a relationship not knowing that I was, right? And and then every breakup from those ones was kind of like me finding knickknacks where it's like I'm not comparing any of them to Alicia.
Yeah.
But like I guess you could say like you were kind of getting senses of like this person has a trait that you adore, but you're not. But it's not the full, right? It's not really what you want, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, oh my god. So I went, and that's when my friend was encouraging me to like online dating because I never really used it before.
Okay.
Right. So, and then that's how I was actually meeting majority of different people, and then that's how like up to the one I'm with right now.
Yeah.
Like miraculously enough, it was like, holy crap. I went through too much, and then this is it. I'm like, okay, yeah, dead end. This is it. I'm done. I actually found what I was looking for. I'm done.
So you met her from online then?
Yeah.
That's okay. I've met lots of people. Online's fun. No, I didn't. Actually, it's the first time I've been single that these apps existed.
Yeah.
I've always been in a relationship. Like when I met you, I think I was with Jonathan. So I was with him for 3 years. Then I was with Phil for 3 years, and then I was with Paulo for 3 years, and then.
3 years seems to be
or 5 years. 5 years. So 3, and 5. Yeah. And then the other guy I was seeing that I found the video of, and then so after that it was like, I'm single. What do I do? So I'm like, oh yes, Tinder exists now, because back then Tinder didn't exist. Last time I was single, I was 16 or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I ever had like a crucial part where like I was single for a while. Like when I first started, yeah, no, even from high school. I remember even from high school, it was like you could be with someone that it's not even a relationship. You're just with them, but it may be a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is, right? But yeah, I think it was like after Alicia, we were pretty much like I think 2 years or 2.5 years was like the longest. After a while, that I haven't been in a relationship, and then everything was just like I'm just with you. We're just like we're kind of together. No, wait, we actually are together. No, we're not.
But see, I think it's good. Like you experienced relationships and the heartbreak, you kind of learn from it, and then you were seeing more than one girl, right?
Yeah.
But kind of feeling out like what you like and what you don't like and because you shouldn't settle.
No, it's true. But that was the thing I found like mysterious and funny because it's like how can this one epic breakup that destroyed me so much, like bring me to a part where like I'm not realizing to myself where I'm like knick-knacking a bit, right? And I think it's like the only difference with her was because I think when I was with her, it was more in the sense that I actually met someone that has the exact same, I guess, interest, like 100% the same interest, and is wanting to learn different things, right? Like previous ones I was before, it was just kind of like it was the same fascination, but they didn't want to grow or they didn't want to explore different things within it, right? So then with her, that was like finally it's someone that wants to do both, and then after that it's like I'm not thinking about it. Like I'm with someone, but I didn't really put the pieces together, thinking to myself like, there's a certain trait that this person has that the other part doesn't, and then I'm like, I can't be with them.
Yeah.
Right.
You started realizing what you wanted.
But that was the thing. It's like how did I realize? How am I realizing this like so late in, and not realizing it, right?
I think it's so even like the guy who broke my heart now. That I've been dating and I've been meeting a whole bunch of different men, like as soon as there's something that is similar, like a negative, not a good, like not a positive thing, but a negative similarity that guy had, like in his actions, his attitude, the way he talks to me, as soon as I catch it, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because it was like the way he would disrespect me or the way he would make me feel bad about myself. Because before, I would let guys just kind of treat me like crap and I'd be like, okay. Because you like the person.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, you just deal with it, you put up with it. And now it's like I put my foot down and I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that shit. Like one time I was hanging out with someone here in the summer, last year, and he told me to shut up. And I was like
literally? Like just
he said shut up. We were talking because it was really stupid. I wanted to leave my house. I had shit to do.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to chill and relax. And I was like, no. Like, I have shit to do, let's go.
Yeah.
You don't come here to hang out and do nothing. Like, I have stuff to do. Anyways, so I was kind of getting, like, annoyed with him, and he told me to shut up. And I was like, what did you say to me? I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. I'm like, this is my house.
Yeah,
and no man is going to talk to me like that at my house.
Yeah.
Like, so as before, I would never do that.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, oh, okay. Or maybe go cry. Or like,
or you feel guilty in general.
Yes,
right?
yes. So
that's what it is.
It's like those little things that that guy did. Now that when I meet someone, I go, no thank you. So it's like it's almost like you have to go through that crap to realize like you're better than that, and that's not what you want, and it's shitty, but it's almost like again a blessing in disguise, because it's like you learn through everything's a lesson.
No, it is.
The shit and the good.
You still have those little lingers, because like even with who I'm with right now, right? Because like I think what was happening was that like certain like. I like to say like we haven't really had like a legit argument. Mm-hmm. I think we just had like mixed communications, and it ends up becoming like very minor confrontations.
Okay.
Like very minor. But then it's like when that little minor pops up, like I start to like revert back to like the past a little bit. Yeah. Right? Like even though I've established like who I am now, it's like a trigger. Yeah. Right, and then it's like me, like I'm already apologizing like out of my ass, like so hard. Yeah. Because it's like, it's almost situations like that triggered how the breakup started. Yeah. That I don't want back. Right. Yeah. And like it's, like I would like to think like so many other people will have that little trigger parts too. Yeah. Right? Like like they would apologize, but in the end it's like, why are you saying sorry? Mm-hmm. Right. Like you really didn't do anything. Right, but then you feel so guilty, like no, I actually said something that was really bad before, and I know and deep inside you feel like, okay, it's still gonna be bad today. Yeah. So like, what more can I not like, I can't help but just say sorry to you. Yeah. Right? That's like, and that's I think even at this point right now, it's like those small lingers that still pop that I'm slowly, like even up to this day, I think I'm still slowly trying to like brought out, like not stick with it literally, because like even before, because when I found out that like Alicia was still in Staples, I could never touch that Staples. It's like specifically that store, right? Yeah. And then miraculously enough, I'll tell you right now, you know how I posted up like had my car accident, everything like that. Yeah. The one place I ended up getting my car, she works there now. So that was the biggest freaking awkward moment of my life, and I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Well, both of my exes, the one that broke me in my 5-year, live across the street from my work. So they shop in my plaza where I work, and the one that broke my heart works on the street I live on.
Oh my god, man.
So I have to deal with it all the time. Like it's always those memories and those thoughts, which I've gotten better at it, of just like whatever. But I get it. Like there's just things that you remember. Yeah. Even though like you're over them, like I know I don't love him, it's still like the thought of what happened. That still hurts when you think of that. That still hurts. Someone hurt you. It does. It doesn't matter. Like that's not gonna go away when you think of it.
But that was the thing too, because I think the only like supportive part I had from that moment was because my best friend was with me when I was getting my car, right? And then she knew exactly what happened. She witnessed everything that happened, and then she's like, "Oh my god, is that Alicia?" Like, yes, like right now. So like I'm like, it's not fully. I would have like a moment of anxiety, very little. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what am I being anxiety about? Like, what am I doing? Like, this is done. Like, the whole destruction is done. Yeah. I am so far from that zone. And that's the thing. But then that's the whole extent of the linger, because like you can't really fully release of that, right? Yeah.
But at least you realize that. Like, as soon as you started feeling that, you started like checking yourself. Yeah. So that's important, because I feel like I probably wouldn't. On the other hand, I would freak out. Yeah. Because I know I can freak out easily. So that's a big thing.
I could freak out easily too. I think anyone can, but I think it's literally now to the point where like if you have that little moment, it's who do you respond back to? Yeah. Because the thing is, if I was there by myself, I think I would have not handled it better if like my friend Amanda wasn't there. Okay. Because then it's like I have a support, I have a backup. Yeah. Like what happened, I'm talking to you. Yeah. Right? And then when I end up telling Courtney, like my girlfriend, right, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, like my ex is right here, right, and she knows about her too. So like that was the one thing. It's like the fact that I established the ex-girlfriends in like the third date, I think. It's like, yo, you know what? If you're dealing with the stories right now, you're more comfortable with everything right now. Because like, I'm not coming with you with baggage, but you know for a fact right now there's more to my story in my world that you're now gonna start getting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't be surprised if something comes up.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing like that.
Yeah. So what is, like, from the relationship with Alicia, was there like one big thing that you took away or learned from it that you now apply to your relationship with Courtney?
That's a hard one.
If like,
actually, you know what? I think it's like, no, it's like what you said. It's like making sure like you're not 100% changing yourself for someone overall.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm always curious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really fascinated to learn different things that other people are really a hobby of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or have like a big interest for
Mm-hmm.
and everything, right? Like even for this itself, like I love the media, like I love the
Yeah.
setup, I love broadcasting, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot about it.
I don't either.
Right? No, but this is what I mean. It's like I'm really like interested in this,
Yeah.
where I love to learn it firsthand from someone that actually does do it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that was the one thing. Like with her, what I took out was the fact that I'm never really changing anyone or changing myself for anyone,
Okay.
and that's why I was really happy when I walked into to Courtney's life with who I am right now.
Yeah.
It's like you're literally taking in exactly what this is right now.
Yeah,
right?
and see, I think that's, for me, that's a big lesson that I learned, and I think a lot of people don't, it's something they don't do is, so I always relationship hop. So it's like 3 years, and then right away into 3 years, and then right away into the 5 years, and then right away into the, I've never been single, like I told you, so it's like I've never been alone, and I've never really got to do things for myself or by myself, or like I've always been attached to someone.
Yeah.
And I always just accommodate their personality, their hobbies, and that is one thing that like now I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm doing this, and I'm like, screw everything else. Like I'll work on my
Well,
goals. So it's so important. And I think, but that a lot of people do that though.
No, they do.
I think that's a big thing that people need to realize. Like, don't do it.
But that's a hard thing because like that's what I've been trying to like express over. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say her name, but there is someone that I knew that I was actually thankful for, randomly met in my life because I met her in Instagram because she was a big fan of Pokemon. So I'm like, oh my god, it's awesome, right? But like, you know, the thing was crazy was because when the breakup with Alicia happened, she was always trying to help me, and then you know, all of a sudden her and her boyfriend, after I think almost 4 or 5 years in this case, like they broke up, and then she was in her own like dark spot too. So I'm like, I recovered a tad more. Now I'm trying to help you because you helped me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going back and forth. But then, in her defense, or in this case, like she was always hopping, like even constantly, because like she seeked attention really hard. Like she really needed attention, right?
A lot of us do.
Yeah. But that was the thing. That's how I was before because I hopped constantly. But the only difference is because now that I endured so much that I can't move on because this is what's still holding me back. I'm learning this, right?
Yeah.
But you're hurting because the person you love so much left, and you're struggling right now to find someone different. Like, why are you struggling to find someone different, right?
Yeah.
And that was the thing too, because like after I passed a year, she was already with someone. I'm like, how, like that, and that's what I'm trying to like reflect now, like for anyone, right? Like I'm trying to tell you straightforward, like if you're in desperate need to find with someone, then you're not doing anything. And I think the issue about that one is because even in my case, because I hop, having this mentality, like thinking to myself, I was going to be alone forever.
I think it's the fear of being alone too. Like to be honest, I have some nights, I think even like, what was it, Sunday night during the rainstorm, watching Game of Thrones on the couch, I felt really lonely. And I'm like, damn, like I would like a boyfriend right now, but like we do have those moments. So I think we all have that fear. So like I just try to tell myself, like, you know what? When the time comes, when the right person comes along, because you shouldn't just get in a relationship just to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we do for the attention, for not being alone,
100%.
for, you know, and I think it's so wrong because then we don't find ourselves. So that's why I'm so happy to hear that you took that time out for yourself, you healed, and then after that you took a couple of years to do you, and you were happy. You were like in your good place, you figured out yourself, and then you found Courtney. So it's like, that's how it should be. And I feel like no one does that anymore. Like, I haven't even done that. So, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm kind of like you, before you met Courtney. Like, I mean, I'm getting there. So I'm still working on myself. But it's so important. And I just feel like that, because, okay, my whole, the Heartbreak first aid kit is like kind of how to get through heartbreak, then also how to try to avoid it as much as possible in the future. And that's one thing, is have your goals, have your dreams, and work on yourself. Take a break, take a time out. Don't hop into another relationship. Like, it's just, there's so many things that I think we do as humans that we just shouldn't when it comes to relationships, because it's unhealthy.
But I think the biggest thing within that one is acceptance. Because realistically, like, anyone that tries so hard to venture off from what hurt the most, it's like you're not really getting away from it fully, right? Because that was the thing, because like I said before, like, I couldn't watch any movie me and her were together because it reminds me of her, right? So like, I would slowly get to that point where I'm like, okay, I gotta accept the fact that, like, you know, if I don't do this now, then, you know, or if I let this memory get over me, then I'm not 100% moving on, right? So like, I think my only tip I was always giving someone was like, accept the fact that this happened. Accept the fact that you are gonna get this over and over and over, right? Until you literally embrace that, then that's the only way you're gonna fully, like, forget, right? Just that part of your life, and then you can literally continue on for what really makes you happy.
Well, and that's something I talk about in my program too, is a lot of people say when you want to distract yourself so that you forget.
Yeah.
And so go do things, go get new hobbies, go join a new class, go hang out with your friends to distract yourself. I don't feel like that's the best. I feel like you need to face it. You need to face it. You kind of need to go through it, not like avoid it.
Yeah. Well, no, but no, you're right.
Like, I mean, yeah,
I mean, like, what you're doing. Well, no. I mean, like, even what you're doing. Like, like, I know you're going, like, you're open mics. I know you're doing your performances.
Yeah, back into music, back into high school. So, just like you went. That's what I was gonna say. You went back to gaming, which is what you did before, and then it's like, and now you're back. Yeah. It's like full circle. So that's like me. It's like music. 12 years with no music, and now I'm back to it, you know? And that's your true self. Like, that is one of your passions. Right?
But I think that's the thing. It's like, don't 100% think of it as a total escape. It's like you're this is still a learning process, right? But then at the same time, dude, it's like, you know, crap. Like, there's something here that's gonna remind me of you, but I'm still gonna do it regardless, right? And then figuring out you're gonna do some Alicia Keys shit. Actually, no. I feel like you can do Rihanna.
I do Rihanna.
You do that. What's that song called? The one that goes like, you know, take a bow, stand in ovation. I think that's the song.
I've done that.
Song. Like, forget you, man. Like, forget you, man. Or hit the.
I play one on my ukulele. The one with Kanye. What is it called again? 4 or 5 seconds. I love that song.
Oh, that one, eh? Yeah, I love that song.
I love that song.
Actually, that was the one thing I was surprised because you had, what's his name, a guy from the Beatles? Oh my god, I keep forgetting his name.
Oh, in the video, you mean? Yeah. What's? Oh my god.
I feel bad. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry because I'm trying to think of it so much.
Paul McCartney?
Yes. Okay.
I questioned that. I'm trying to imagine the video.
I was just more impressed that you had a video of Kanye with that guy. I'm like, whoa.
Oh man. What? Okay, I'm looking at my things. I haven't really looked at them. I think we kind of went through like everything, all my questions. See, like I had questions ready for him, but we just kind of just let it flow naturally. And I think we've hit everything I've asked, or I wanted to ask. But yeah, no, I think definitely, and that's why I feel like it's been such a struggle for me. And like, I know other people go through heartbreak and go through the struggle that you would like. I think we went through somewhat similar struggles with the heartbreak, and I had a really bad time. Like, we owned a condo with 5-year ex.
Yeah.
So it was like selling that, ending that relationship, but then I was right into the next relationship, and like having nowhere really to live, and then so like all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people go through that when you're so like your world revolves around your partner. So that's why I'm creating this program. that I filmed and now need to edit and find time to edit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, because I just feel like it's a problem, it's an issue, I've been struggling with it, and now I'm kind of on the other end, and I'm like, oh, well, like, people need to know this, because I feel like there's so many programs and YouTube videos and all that stuff out there about how to get over heartbreak and blah, blah. And I listen to them all. I listen to them because I'm sitting here going, okay, I can do it. I'm going to listen to this stuff and do what it says. And I listen to it, and like we were saying, it's like, okay, well, that's easier said than done.
No, yeah.
It's just like your friends telling you, and you're like, no, because my mind is not there. I'm not in the right mind frame to hear that or to deal with that or to do it that way, right? So my program that I'm doing it's a little different. So things are.
It's kind of like a consultation without like it being a full one. Like you're just really talking it out.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say like this is do these things in the way that I should. Like if I knew what I know now, I would have not been hurting for so long. I would have been like, okay, like if someone told me. So that's kind of why I'm creating the program, so that I can offer it to people and be like, I want to help you, here you go.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
But that's why I love talking about this stuff, because it's so like, and I'm obviously constantly learning, because like I'm in the dating game, I'm single, I'm meeting people, so I'm always like, like I love talking about it and learning about successful relationships. How long have you been? You said 9 months?
We're reaching 9 months.
9 months. That's exciting. Yeah. That's exciting. Congrats. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how long we've been talking. I'll have to edit this. I don't know how much battery or memory I have. But where can we find you on social media?
So anyone that wants to talk, or at least like just say their own word or their own part in this case. Like I am under Instagram. If you can't find me, it's able_warrior. If you can't find me by searching, I'll be, of course, in the relationship.
I'll put it across the screen.
Facebook, if you want to reach me too, it is Carlos F Valenzuela. You can't miss it. It's like me with a photo with my girlfriend, so you can see that one, right? But also, like I am on YouTube as well. Not relevant, but like I do post like my own gaming stuff in there. Maybe some highlights from like other tournaments I go to. So you can find me using my name, or you can find me under my login name. So it's like DS666 on that one. So yeah, reach me if any case like that, if you want to say something in this case. But like the one thing I want to share with everyone, I know I want to make this like the final word. I don't want to make this, but like no, like I want to like just tell everyone like really from like where I came from. Anyone that's never experienced this period, please don't neglect the person, really, because it hurts more knowing the fact that you didn't give the person a chance to talk and just like automatically assume that this is like the poison of your life. Like don't do that, right? There's people literally hurting so much that they don't have anyone to talk to, and if you can at least listen and maybe at least say something like positive in this case, something small does change a lot, and then at least that person will know for a fact that they could at least say something to you.
That's like if you saw my Instagram post I posted today. I don't know if you had time to read it.
I was there. The last thing I saw was like the open mic one. That's the last thing.
No, my actual feed. I posted a picture of myself, and it was like a blog post. Anyways, it was kind of about that. I was having a rough day today, and so at my lunch I
one.
Yeah, I said, I'm like, you don't know what people are going through. Like people you meet on the street, you don't know if they're having a bad day, if they're going through heartbreak and a breakup, a death, and like, death in family, something you don't know. So like treat everyone kindly, because a small thing can trigger that person. And I was really sensitive today. So it's just something that I posted because I'm like, you don't know. So, and like if you don't know and you see that someone's down or they're not really talking, ask them. And if they want to talk, like I had someone today who wanted to hug me because I was crying, and she wanted to hug me, and I said no, because I said if you hug me I'm gonna cry more, and I can't right now because I'm at work. So I said no, like thank you, but no. Like I let her know, but I appreciate the fact that she wanted to be there for me, but at least she offered. So it's not like she didn't care and she walked away. She offered a shoulder to cry on, and she's there to talk. And it's offering that means the most to someone who's going through something than just ignoring them and shutting them out of your life. So that is something very important. So with that being said, if you guys don't follow me, I'm Angella Alonzi, Angela with 2 L's, and that is my social media handle everywhere. I keep it very easy. So y'all find me. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks.